Thanks, Jerry, and thanks, Stuart. It's always good to be here and present to the audience. So I just talk about Kew. So Kew's between Mount Magnet and Meekatharra in the Murchison Goldfields of WA. The picture there gives you an idea of where we're exploring at the moment on Lake Austin. So the rig in the foreground, the white dot you can see in the background, sitting right back here is our Break of Day deposit about 3 k's to the south. A number of gold nuggets identified by prospectors on the northern ground we picked up at mainland, you can see in the foreground. 51-ounce nugget discovered in early January, just a metre and a half below surface. So a really prospective area there as well that hasn't had a lot of basement exploration. I'll take you through all that, forward-looking statements and disclaimers. Please read at your leisure. The presentation is on the Musgrave website and also on the ASX this morning. So targeting major high-grade systems and also near-term production. We've got about 28 kilometres of shear zone, the majority of it underexplored under the lake system, and also part of it held by prospectors that hasn't had basement exploration. New intersections at Lake Austin North, 240 metres at a gram. We're well funded to drill over the next 6 to 9 months. We've made high-grade discoveries. We've got the Break of Day discovery. We've got the discovery at Lake Austin North in the A zone. We've currently got a resource base of about 440,000 ounces, and we want to grow that. We've got 5 third-party mills in the district, so we're in a really strong area with really good infrastructure. The highway is the Bitumen Highway, Great Northern Highway, is about 3 kilometres from our work areas. The biggest analogue and the best analogue for us in the region is Great Fingal, and I'll take you through how the Great Fingal deposit is made up of what resource base later in the presentation. We're on 100% mining leases already granted at Break of Day and Lena. 387 million shares on issue. We had about 5.1 million at the end of March. Market cap's about 24 million. Westgold is our largest shareholder, but we also have Independence and Silver Lake on our register. And you can see where we're located there. Our major project is the Kew project, as I mentioned, between Meekatharra and Mount Magnet. Really good location. So we've got major deposits in the area. We've got the 4 million ounce plus Big Bell deposit. You've got Great Fingal, as I mentioned, at 2 million ounces. We've got the Mount Magnet field to the south, is now over a 6 million ounce field. And the Tuckabianna and Checkers Mill that are held by Westgold and Ramelius respectively are the 2 closest mills, both within 40 kilometres of where we're operating. Break of Day and Lena and the existing resources. Discovered in 2016-17. Existing resources there are quite high grade at Break of Day. The expectation for us is that these deposits will continue at depth. We'll look at the opportunity to continue to drill at depth and along strike at Break of Day and Lena in the next 3 months. We would like to increase the grade of the Break of Day deposit. We think there's opportunity to be able to do that and the ounces. Now these are quite high grade, obviously, and an opportunity to give reasonable margins. So the infrastructure in the region, this is another key component for us. You can see our tenure there in purple, Great Northern Highway running up through the middle of the tenure, and the operating mills and mines around us. We also have Ataman to the south, down at Kirkalocka, who is hoping to get into production later this year. So we have Westgold, as I mentioned, 40 kilometres away. Ramelius is about 40 kilometres to the south at Mount Magnet. Ramelius have a high-grade component trucking from the Vivian deposit 300 kilometres to get it into the Mount Magnet mill. So at the moment, with infrastructure the way it is and trucking costs the way they are, high-grade gold deposits in the Yilgarn can be moved quite a long distance across the road systems. We're looking at opportunities to get into production in the short term, but in the longer term, we want to grow that resource base and give ourselves an opportunity to potentially build our own mill. Really good recoveries in this region and at Break of Day in particular, with 96-97% recoverable gold, a really strong gravity component recovery. You can see there in the gold pan. beautiful tail on the back of the quartz vein. And that suggests low reagent use, so these deposits should fit into any existing mill or be nice and simple for processing in a new mill. There are no deleterious elements, so nothing negative in that processing. The big picture for us is new discoveries, and we've got opportunity to do that under the lake system, where we've got at least 13 kilometres of strike underexplored in that lake. And also the new mainland target that you can see up to the north there. This is the mainland area, been held by prospectors for the last 30 years. We've just done an option agreement for that, and we'll be looking at starting drilling at mainland in late June, early July. In that lake system and over the whole belt, about 28 kilometres of strike, and really about 10% of it has been drill tested, so a lot of opportunity for us. New gold targets within that belt. This is a gravity image. So gravity looks at the density of rocks below the surface. We integrate gravity and magnetics to look at the density and the magnetic intensity of the rocks to give us interpretation of where we think the geology is going, where we can't see anything at surface. So this data has been instrumental. It has helped us target and define shear zones, extensions on the lake system. And one of the first discoveries we made was Lake Austin North. So a number of hits there. You can see 36 metres at 3.6, 20 at 6, 52 at 3.8, 45 at 3.3. So some really nice thick intersections, reasonable grades, and also the D zone there, a new zone we've identified at Lake Austin, 5 metres at 15 grams, and we're doing basement testing on that at the moment. So this system at Lake Austin, I'll take you through it in a bit more detail. We can see here the system and the shear zone runs up around the edge of a granite or a tonalite. This is the granite here. This is the shear zone running to the north. We've done basement drill testing over this 500 metre zone here. We've got an anomaly in the regolith, so this is forming a mushroom type halo in the clay zone above the basement mineralisation below the lake sediments, and that at the moment extends for about 1 kilometre. Through here. We're currently doing air core drilling to test the extents of that, both north and south, and we've also identified these other offshoot zones or interlocking shear zones that form conjugate type pairs which are coming off the side of the main A zone. Now, these are yet to be drill tested, but are also extensive regolith anomalies. You can see again some of the intersections there, some really broad high grades at 90 odd metres at a couple of grams, with a high grade component within that of 50 odd metres at 3 to 4. Now this system is still open, and here, as I mentioned, we've tested this 500 metres of basement. It's still open to the north and to the south. In cross section, so this is perpendicular to the strike of the mineralisation. You can see this gold halo. So this is the cover sequence, the lake sediments. This is the clay zone, the weathered regolith. This is the gold halo in here, and this is the basement mineralisation. So you're seeing a broad low grade and high grade zones within that. And again, another cross-section at Lake Austin North in the A zone. Some early drilling with success. Some drilling where we've drilled parallel to the mineralisation and just missed the high grade. So we've recently come back in with some scissor holes and come back in across the mineralisation here, and you can see where we've intersected the high grade, which is there. It's at nearly 44 metres at 2 grams with 18 at 3.5. So we think we're getting a better handle on the mineralisation as we go forward. We're looking forward to continue drilling. We've got some holes we're still waiting for from diamond holes at Lake Austin North. We'll then have an assessment period where we'll look at the data and then come back out and re-drill and hit it and look for the further extensions to the mineralisation. Just quickly on some new targets around the A zone yet to be drill tested. You can see here, as I mentioned, we've got these offshoot zones. These are quite extensive in themselves. We're continuing to drill the extents of these as we go as well. As I mentioned, we're continuing to find the limits of A zone. We've got a couple of holes here we're waiting for in D zone and yet to drill it all in A zone in the basement. And these zones are all relatively closely spaced. So we're looking at, as far as scale goes, this zone here is about 400 metres long, another sort of 400 metres in here. So real significant scope to find new mineralisation, new deposits. Just keep that size and that scope in mind, and I'll take you through some of the great Fingal mineralisation now. So we can see here, this is on the right-hand side, we've got Break of Day and Lena, a major shear zone coming up. This is our interpretation here of where the shear zone goes, off onto the lake. We've got initial anomalies in here. This is the A zone, where we've got the current strong mineralisation in the basement geology. Anomaly to the north on the continuation of the shear zone. We're just putting air core drilling in at the moment. On the left-hand side, you can see a comparative. Now, this is the Great Fingal system. So we're looking roughly around 4.5 kilometres here. If you go up to Day Dawn, it's about 5.5 kilometres. So this is made up of a number of deposits. So it's 2 million ounces at about 10 grams, but it's made up of a number of deposits, all with a strike length of anywhere between 200 and about 400 metres, similar to what we're seeing at Lake Austin North. So these systems, as you can see, are generally made up of a number of smaller deposits, but bulk out to really big systems. We're also seeing that, Steve Parsons talking about that, also at Bellevue, where you're getting 4 or 5 kilometres of strike, you're getting multiple deposits or lodes within those systems to become in total an economic deposit. And that's what we're trying to find here and what we're looking for, and we're seeing all the indications of that with the near surface and regolith mineralisation that needs further basement testing. Mainland project is an opportunity that we've picked up recently. This is an area that's been held by prospectors for the last 30 years, has had very little and limited basement exploration on it, but it's been prolific in producing alluvial gold. Some of these nuggets are quite spectacular. These two you can see here are 28 ounces, and that's 241 grams, so about 20 ounces as well, are near surface. But there's a whole swag of alluvial gold that has kept these prospectors working for the last 30 years as their sole job. So what we really like about this area too is some of the samples that they've identified in these rounded quartz pebbles with gold within them. So these have not come far from source. The quartz has not been completely weathered away. There's again a rounded pebble with gold within it. So there's a basement source close by for these, and that's our intent, is to find that. And these are really high grade, obviously, with that amount of gold in them. So it's a really good opportunity for us to find another high grade basement gold deposit. Going forward, we've got soil geochemical programs in these areas where we think geochemistry will work. We're doing a detailed aeromagnetic survey over the lake system and the mainland area. Diamond drilling at Lake Austin North. We'll have some RC drilling in our first program, the maiden program, in late June, early July, we're excited about. We've got air core drilling on Lake Austin happening at the moment. We're testing a number of new targets to the north and looking at the extensions of both A, D and E zones there. We're also intending to do some more RC and diamond drilling at Break of Day on the resource we have there, and continuing our development work as well. So that's looking at Lena and Break of Day and options for developing that in the near term, and whether that is of benefit for the company. So in summary, we've got mineral resources of 440,000 ounces. That's outside anything we have at Lake Austin, which we haven't got a resource on as yet. We're getting consistent high-grade gold results. We've got obviously the new discovery at Lake Austin North. We think there's significant upside, a really underexplored area. We think we're in a field with multiple deposits yet to be found. We've got active drilling programs going forward. We're well funded at the moment, so we have all the ingredients you want to see in a gold deposit and in a field with opportunity for upside. Again, just some of the nuggets that have been found at mainland off to the right. strong board and management. Graham, myself, John Percival is here. Many of you know John. John's been with the company again, as we all have since inception, and John and I will be in the booth later. You're welcome to come around for a chat. And just to finish off, you can see some images there of gold in drill core, in the gold pan from RC drilling, and also alluvial nuggets found at mainland. So thank you very much, and look forward to talking in the booth if people want to come around and have a chat.
Thank you, Rob.